It was about a year and a half ago on First Take that you went on the air and you said that you believed Kawhi Leonard would never play for the San Antonio Spurs again. Not too many people took that seriously at the time. Turned out, of course, to be absolutely right. I know you have spent a lot of this day talking to a lot of people. What are you hearing?
So, as you just saw, Kawhi Leonard is in Toronto. What I'm 99% hearing is that Kawhi Leonard will be returning to Toronto and signing a 2-year contract. He just completed his 8th season. That's going to put him at 10 years. That puts him in position to get the largest available maximum deal for a player of his tenure.
The timing in all of this is extraordinarily significant. I think that's an important piece of this to make sure everyone is aware of, that 10th year does increase the value of the Supermax he would then be eligible for. And so, again, this is what you're hearing from people close to the situation.
And if you notice, I've never vacillated because these are the same people that I've been talking to the entire time. And when you hear the reports, especially when you do what we do, it's easy to kind of get off of your square, but I've been consistent. And if you know me, I like to measure twice and cut once. I just dropped the mic.
Okay, very good. I don't know what that means, but I like it very much. Let me turn it over to
You don't know what that means?
Well, I know. I have a sense of what. I mean, measure once and cut. What is it?
Measure twice and cut once.
Very good. I like that a lot. I'll use it again and won't give you credit. Okay, let me come over here. The first thought that jumped to my mind was, it does not make a lot of obvious sense why Kawhi Leonard, assuming that was him on that plane today, would have flown to Toronto today if he was not planning on re-signing with the Raptors. You did bring up one interesting theory as to why he might do so.
Well, one of the things is respect, right? Like if they asked him, like, hey, you can go see whoever you want, but allow us to give you the last pitch here in Canada, in Toronto, where we just won a championship. That is our only request of you. And so that would be a reason why he would go there. Now, again, he could be getting off that plane to go sign a 2-year deal, right? But he could also just be getting off that plane to go show them the respect. Like, hey, I'll allow for the last pitch, and then I will sleep on it and then make my decision in the morning or in the coming days.
That's a whole lot of respect. You flying all the way back from L.A. to T-Dot in order to show them that kind of respect. And if J. Rose is right, which Rosadamas most of the times is, like, I love this for the NBA. I love this for the NBA. Number one, here's a team that took a chance on him, that thought they had a 1-year rental. And the fact they did it the right way, if you got him to buy back into the culture overall to sign a 2-year deal, like Masai Ujiri, like you're seeing why he's up for all these awards. I mean, his ability to get this guy to believe in the overall culture of the organization, have a nation behind you, I love this for the NBA.
It's fascinating because for so long we believed that his goal was to go to Los Angeles and that the Clippers were the team that he had identified. We will never know the significance of the injury to Kevin Durant. I said on our show this morning, we're normally on in the mornings for those of you who are not familiar with our program, on the show this morning, that someday when the history of this little time in the NBA is written, the significance of the injury to Kevin Durant will be told in full, and it's something that we have not fully grasped yet. I don't know how different things would have looked. They would have been completely different if he was not walking around with a torn Achilles right now. Who knows if that would have opened up the Clippers?
I don't know if he would have been with Kawhi. I think him and Kyrie have such a special relationship. And what they've been talking about for a while, I think that was kind of done before it was done.
That may very well be the case. I don't even necessarily mean just with going to the Clippers with Kawhi, but who knows what would have happened. A lot of things might have become fluid that didn't. One way or the other, what is left here now is a Kawhi who had the following options. You can team up with LeBron James and Anthony Davis in Los Angeles, create a super team, but one where you will by no means be the primary focus, at least not initially. You can go to the Clippers where now, not to disrespect any of the players there, but you're sort of trying to win it on your own to some degree as far as superstars are concerned, or you go back to Toronto and try and run it back. Those, from a basketball standpoint, were the options that he had.
But also, and these same sources were telling me that the Clippers dynamic was really in play, except they didn't acquire, quote-unquote, enough firepower for him to go with. In the Lakers, it's just the opposite. They have too much firepower. And it's too many lights, camera, and action with the purple and gold that just isn't Kawhi's personality for anybody that's followed him for as long as I have. And so I'm not surprised by this decision. I've never changed or wavered about what I thought he was going to do. And so this is why you do afternoon shows and free agency specials for times like this. 99%, my sources tell me, he is staying in Toronto for a 2-year contract.
There we go.
The 2-year
Preach.
part of it is also interesting. He could sign the 5-year max right now. As to your point, it would be a greater number, will be a greater number in 2 years when he's had 10 years into the league. But for a person with a history of injuries, as he has, bear in mind, this is a guy who was 1 year removed from playing only 9 games in a season. This past year, they were very good with the load management and all of that. It would be taking a risk to shine that when we've talked about it a lot, Richard, to sign the shorter term deal right now because you don't know for sure 2 years from now how everything is going to look.
And that was really my argument about him not going back to Toronto. Like, is he going to sign a 5-year deal with them? Because that's the bonus that you get signing that 5th year with the team that you've been with. But it's like, does he want to be there for the next 5 years? Short term, you have the injury component, which we know load management injuries had that. So you could go to a place like LA where you won't have to have so much on you and you can kind of get your body back to being healthy again.
The East is wide open. I mean, Philadelphia, I don't think they got better. I think the East got a little bit, it's more diverse, I guess spread across. But, you know, Milwaukee didn't get better losing Malcolm Brogdon. Indiana got a little bit better. The Celtics with Kemba. But, like, if you're talking about load management and coming back and running it back for another year or two, the Raptors have to be the favorite in the East right now.
So
he goes back.
Yeah,
Right.
agreed.
So here's a fork in the road from the time you talked about me being on First Take.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard had to endure people slandering his name by not wanting to play with the San Antonio Spurs. Okay? We remember he only played 9 games, but we forget everything that was said about him by so many people when he decided against playing when the Spurs even announced he was going to come back.
Right.
Okay. So they trade him in the offseason. And so now, like you just said, Toronto embraced him when he needed it the most. Okay? And don't overlook the fact that the medical staff, we call it load management. Like Adam Silver called it, it was recovery for a guy to have a major injury. So that level of trust that he has in their staff is one of the main reasons why he's going to stay.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, highlights, and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.